Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to this live episode of Homeopathic Voices from Around the World, which is a companion to my ongoing series,
Hello, everybody,
which is
and
the homeopathy.
welcome to
Let me
this
just turn
live
the volume
episode
down.
of Homeopathic Voices from Around the
Technical
World.
difficulties. Let's start that again. So, hi everybody. My name is Atik Ahmad. I'm the host of the Homeopathy Health Podcast, but also Homeopathic Voices from Around the World. And I'm live, joined by Dr. Shrikant Talari from India. And we're going to be talking about the subject of mental and emotional well-being through the use of homeopathic medicines or remedies, let's call them. So, Dr. Shrikant Talari, welcome to Homeopathic Voices from Around the World. Such a pleasure to finally have you on after so many ups and downs that I've had, that you've had. It's been, hey, it's worth it, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Atik, for inviting me.
I
Show
can't hear
has
you
been
very
very
well. Just
popularly
one
received
second. I
all
can
over
hear.
the world. So you're doing great work for homeopathy and reaching out the homeopathic knowledge. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's a real honor to have you on. I wanted to talk to you about, well, first tell us where you're from and how your practice is going.
So yeah, I'm based in India. So I think, as many of us know, in here in India, we are all qualified doctors. We are actually properly trained, almost as equivalent to any modern medicine uh, doctor, and that is why we are able to, take charge of our patients completely. We can treat patients exclusively with homeopathy in all pathologies, from the smallest cold to the most advanced pathologies.
It's amazing,
So
isn't it, that homeopathy is so important, isn't it, in today's time? I just find that you could argue it's always been important, but it just seems to be so right at this moment in time, with the state of the world, people's health and well-being. And it's such an absolute magic fit, isn't it, to health restoration?
yeah, especially with the topic that we have chosen today, which is to do with mental health. I think today mental emotional health has become a big issue,
Mm.
and most importantly, even modern medicine, which was not a great believer of stress being a big factor for causing disease, is now acknowledging that we need to handle stress and mental emotional issues of the patient to make them feel better.
Mm.
So that is where I think homeopathy seems to be the only medical science which can treat your mental emotional state with remedies. As far as I know, there is no other science or medicine which does it.
I shouldn't say it, but because there is no such thing as a remedy for everybody. But I just find that the majority of people, certainly that I sort of help, who are suffering from any type of emotional turmoil, two or three remedies always come to mind, Ignatia, Natmure, and they always form the simillimum as well, which is quite interesting. I just mentioned too, that doesn't mean these are the remedies. I'm just giving an example, but purely for the fact that it just shows you the type of um, situations which people are going through are quite similar. You can't categorize them totally to say yes, no, this is the track, but certainly a majority of people do seem to be going through very similar troubles in their life. And these can be financial, these can be to do with the children, it can be to do with married life and the stresses of life itself, right? Work, and if you have a social life, and then there's the whole fear factor about getting sick, and it's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, I think, as you rightly said, no, the causes because of which people are getting stressed today seem to be from these three, four categories that you mentioned: mental, emotional, some relationship issue, some financial issue, or some, work issue, or uh, professional issues like that. But mm, I would like to just give an example and through that try and explain the homeopathic approach. Should I?
Absolutely, please. That's why you're my guest.
Hmm, this is a example that I almost give in all my lectures. So there is one patient who comes to the homeopath and she says that, doctor, recently I lost my husband in a road traffic accident. Suddenly he expired. And since then I am not able to sleep. And because of certain restrictions at home, I'm not able to come to the clinic. Can you please give me some remedy so that I feel better? So the homeopath sees this history and then he thinks that the mm, remedy that the patient needs is ignitia based on sudden unexpected death of husband and grief and sadness,
Hmm.
right? So homeopath gives ignitia. Patient calls up after 4 5 days, says, I'm not better. Homeopath feels the remedy is right because the causative factor is right, and he gives the same potency or in more repetition. Nothing happens. Then he raises the potency and repetition. Still nothing happens. So then he calls the patient and he asks her, what happened? What was the effect of your husband dying? So she says that, look, doctor, my husband was a very, very restrictive person. He was very sort of dominating, suspicious, not allowing me to mm, go after my career, always wanting me to just be at home, look after children, suspicious if I go out, etc. Doctor, the moment he died, no, I felt so happy. I felt so happy that now I have got back my freedom. Now I can, work and earn money and take care of my children, but I am very, very happy with this. So the point I'm trying to derive is, like you said, even though the situations can be sort of um, common, as a homeopath, what we are looking at is what is uncommon, what is the uncommon individualistic response that this patient has to this same situation. I may go through grief, you may go through grief, every one of us goes through grief. Reasons may be numerous, but how I react and how you react is different,
Hmm.
or how anyone else react, we can see that difference. Every person seems to react to that same grief in a different manner. Some recover soon, some don't recover, some cry loudly, some are very silent, some start getting angry, some start develop pathology, some are absolutely not affected. So this reaction is what we are looking at when we are trying to treat homeopathically, that the causes may be same, but the reaction is what we are looking at. And that is why in homeopathy we say we try to individualize the patient. We want to see your individualistic response to this stimuli. The stimuli may be common, but your individualistic reaction is characteristic.
It just got me thinking that when I talk to homeopaths, and as you know, I talk to pretty much everybody now around the world, the knowledge that homeopaths carry with them is so far greater, I think, than what it is in medicine, because it's not compartmentalized. You have to know about everything, literally. You have to know so many different things because of the fact that it's individualized treatment. So one, let's say, conventional medicine is not a fit for all. And that in itself is something, isn't it? Because it's years of studying. One could argue it's a lifetime of studying. Of course it is, but to know remedies, to know their signature of remedies, align them to the characteristic of a patient, and then look at possible miasmatic influences and whether the constitution has changed, look at multiple layers of personalities. And there's so much to go through. And often I say to patients, I'm sure you do as well, that as they're talking, even though we're taking notes, but we're also repertorizing in our head because remedies are popping in, and then, oh, it's not that one, it's not this, it's not this, this is where it's heading in a different track, isn't it? It's really profound, isn't it?
Yeah, it is profound. I think one is when a patient comes to us, I think the first thing we want to see is the remedy matches their pathology, whatever it is there. It has to first match their pathology, their symptoms, and then their mindset, and then their family history, and then their physical constitution, and then different types of mental symptoms. And you have to not only collect all this information, but we should also be able to categorize that. Which out of all these symptoms has to be given the most importance at this point of time?
Mm,
That's a big challenge. There are, once you elicit all these different compartments, you come to know you have 100 symptoms now. What to do with these 100 symptoms? Because you can't treat every symptom. You have to know which one is most important and how to sort of address that in this moment.
absolutely. So tell me, as far as mental and emotional well-being is concerned, actually, I have a question for you on that. Here in the UK, there is sadly a gradual increase. You could argue it's like that everywhere, but a lot of people are feeling the pressures. Majority of the time, it's financial here, very much. People are really struggling. Everything is going up as far as prices are concerned, and the expenditure and the outgoings just to stay alive, I guess, just to stay healthy or just to stay within one's own four walls, home or rent. Well, what's the situation like in India? Is it very similar, or are there different trends?
You mean in India's economic condition?
The
Or
condition of what people are sort of going through at the moment. So here in
yeah,
the UK,
yeah,
it's very much, ailments from, you could say, finances and existence.
yeah. I think India is a developing country, and we are a huge country. So parts of our country nowadays is doing good. We are doing good. Our economy seems to be increasing, and GDP is increasing. So there are, compared to what 15, 20 years back, we are doing, everybody seems to have a job, and
Hmm.
they can earn a livelihood. That is the state as of now in India. So the problems here are more to do with uh, sort of see, again, there is two categories. So all the growth and development you see in cities, cities, small towns, you're seeing that. But in interior parts, still it has not reached. So there we still have that poverty, joblessness. That part is still there. That's why we are still developing. It's not reached the most interior, but on a larger scale, definitely it has improved. So if we compare to those who are doing economically well, their issue seems to be more relationships and um, emotions, and not being able to um, get on with normal family life and all that.
Hmm.
And yeah, in interior, it still remains malnutrition, and all these things still are a issue.
So what's your process as far as dealing with mental health and or emotional upsets or imbalances?
Yeah, sorry, can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, what's the process that you use as far as treating patients who present themselves, with mental or emotional imbalances or upsets? How do you sort of deal with that? What's your way? Because homeopaths, we all have our unique way of addressing to get to the right remedy as such.
Yeah. So firstly, as I demonstrated through the example of Ignitia case, no, that patient got coffee were ailments from joy with sleeplessness, therefore she received the remedy coffee. So like that, what I am always looking for is what is the patient's individualistic response to this stimuli.
Hmm.
So the stimuli may be different, or may be same, but still the reaction is different. So once I remember one patient, he said that, doctor, all my complaints developed after my mother expired. She died because of some health problems. He was 40 years old. So since then, my job has, I'm not as good in my job. I am not earning so much. I tried business. I'm not doing well in business also, etc. So I said, why? What happened? So he says, doctor, my mother was my source of energy. She was my main source of energy. Now that she's gone, no, I feel like that energy is only not there. So now
Hmm.
I can't work. If I'm trying to work, I don't feel the energy. Whether it is job, whether it is business. Previously, I was like, I can work for 12 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours also. But now even 1 hour is difficult for me. So I have lost my power that is there inside me. So what I want is I want to gain back that power. If I get that power, if I get that energy back, then I'll do well. Then I will be able to function well. Then I will earn well. Then my job will be okay. Everything will be okay. So he later on in the case he said that I feel better by being in the sun, and I get all my power and energy even today if I be in the sun and I look at the sunset or the sun rising.
Hmm.
So he got the remedy actually. I gave him the remedy sunlight itself. So he did pretty well on that. He started going to his office again. He started doing well in his job. He closed down the business, and he had constipation was his main complaint. The physical complaint also improved. So again, what I am looking at it, what is the response to this stimuli? His response is I lost power. That is primarily what I'm looking for. And this response can be at any level. It can sometimes be even a physical symptom. So since my mother's death, I have developed pain in abdomen. Describe the pain in abdomen. It is like cramping and I want to bend double. Then maybe I'll give colocynth also, because the response is that of a colocynth.
Interesting. Interesting. And do you find, um, is there a large influx as far as mental? Well, I asked this question, but I'm just thinking technically, as a homeopath, we go through this anyway, right? It's a routine for every
Every
single
single
patient.
patient.
Yeah. But do you find that, with what's it? Well, the question I'm asking, what is it as far as you're concerned as the influx? Is it really predominantly straight away where you can say, yes, this is all mental and emotional, and of course there may be pathology there afterwards, of course, but or is it just a mixed bag like it is, I suppose, for many of us, as far as presenting complaints?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Hmm.
It's not like one area is affected, but especially luckily, I think I am able to see a lot of international clients also because of online Zoom,
Hmm.
etc. So, and I see quite a bit of patients from the UK who are based in UK, etc. So there, I think there is a general understanding that I see in patients who are choosing homeopathy, that they feel homeopathy primarily, firstly, is for acute sort of relief, and secondly, they feel that for chronic conditions, the role of supplements, the role of detoxification is a big thing. How much food I eat, what kind of food I eat, what kind of supplements I take. this will improve the health a lot, is what I see is the general understanding of people who are, open to sort of natural treatments like homeopathy. But
That's
uh,
power of social media.
yes, but what I felt is that this has also becoming generic. Everybody seems to take some amount of magnesium, some amount of some natural plant-based supplements, some amount of D3, some amount of calcium, something or the other. Everybody seems to be taking. And I try to explain patients that, the homeopathic approach is slightly different. Yeah. The homeopathic approach is that we believe disease is dynamic. So what we are saying is that if if there is a external stimuli, for example, let's take that a patient has been diagnosed of a condition like, let's say, hypertension. Okay. Now, what are the causes of hypertension? Hypertension causes can be first genetic, because my family has. Second, it can be because I eat too much of non-vegetarian food. I eat too much of outside food, junk food. I sleep irregularly. I don't exercise. All these are physical causes. You are exposed to toxins. You are not exercising. You are leading a bad sort of lifestyle. This can be another cause. Third is mental causes, like I have stress, I have tension because of some XYZ stress, I am having this problem.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, if you look carefully, actually, if you remove hypertension for for a few seconds now, remove this diagnosis hypertension. Actually, if you see whatever chronic disease we are having today, the causes seems to be from all these three categories only: bad lifestyle, mental stress, genetic factors. Correct? So what I am looking at when I am treating a patient is whether your disease is firstly because of genetic, then I need to find a genetic constitutional medicine. If it is because of lifestyle problems, then I will give some remedy, but primarily I will suggest you changes in your lifestyle. If you don't change your lifestyle, how much ever good my medicine may be, it's not going to cure you. It may relieve you for some time, but it is not going to cure you. And third is, if you have a mental cause, then I have to treat your mental issues. If I don't treat that and just focus on only lifestyle, then it's not going to work.
Hmm.
Or if your disease is genetic and I keep saying, no, no, I will treat your mind, then that is also not going to work. So that's what the homeopathic or approach is, where you first try to identify where the disturbance is, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, or genetic. And then you have to treat that. Not everybody should encourage or indulge in taking supplement, because if that supplement is a problem, then you should take it. If everybody is taking magnesium, everybody is taking calcium, that itself is very common. In my understanding, it is like taking allopathy only, because you're doing the same generic thing by taking the same supplement everybody is taking. The whole concept of homeopathy is individualizing, knowing, understanding your disease and treating only what is required for you, not
That's
taking
yeah.
everything.
That's very, very eloquently said, actually, and very timely. It's uh, it's easy, isn't it, just to follow the herd?
Huh?
You
Huh?
know,
Huh?
and that's where the problems actually sometimes stem from, because so many people can present themselves that, oh, well, look, I go for a walk every evening after my meal, and I have my vitamins every morning, and I have a smoothie. But it's not that. That's part of, you could almost say, just like saying, well, I've had a glass of water and I've had my three meals. I started with breakfast. It doesn't suit everybody, does it?
Yes, it doesn't suit.
Interesting. So now I do know, I want to just go off tangent slightly, because I know that you are the author of a book, and I'm going to just have a look. Can you remind us? Like, actually, let me find it for you, because I've got it open here. So the book that you've written is The Art and Skill of Case Taking, a practical integration tool. So, firstly, do share about the book, what made you, write it and author it, and then also where we can actually get a hold of a copy, which is the most important part.
Yeah, you can get hold of it on Amazon. It is available on
Hmm.
Amazon. Now, why I write this book is when I started my practice, no, I used to feel that it's very easy, homeopathy. You have to take complete symptom of every whatever local patient symptoms the patient has. Suppose pain in abdomen, take complete symptom. Suppose what certain disturbance in physical generals and
Hmm.
certain disturbance in mental symptoms, just collect them, put it in repertory, or think of some drug picture or some materia medica knowledge and give remedy, everything is okay. But then I realized that patients were not giving me symptoms. I always used to feel that I am putting so much of effort, but patient is not giving characteristic symptoms. So what do I do? So I I spent a lot of sleepless nights. I used to work very hard trying to read. I initially I used to feel my knowledge is less because I don't know as much of materia medica or repertory. That's why I'm not able to solve. But slowly, what I started to realize is that more than my knowledge, my ability to know what is to be treated and what is the real characteristic in this case, that is the main problem that I thought was more difficult for me, because once I knew that this is the problem, then it becomes easy to go and search, especially because of the advent of repertory, software repertory, so much of search engine, so much information available. So nowadays it's not so difficult that this is the symptom you want for this patient and you will not find it. Less chances nowadays.
Hmm.
You will be able to find it if you have the advanced repertory softwares, etc. So the problem primarily I felt was more in knowing what is to be treated. And this book, what I've done is how I came to know that how to elicit characteristics, whether it is in physical level or in mental symptoms. That is what I've written in this book, and that is what is so each learning that I've written is supported by a case. It's an experience that I've shared. See, this was the case. I treated this patient with these were the complaint. I did not get the remedy. Then how I reviewed, what I thought, how I thought. I've written all my thought process
Hmm.
of
Interesting.
how I thought, what I thought, and why. Then I asked this question, how I arrived that this is the most characteristic. This thought process I have written, and that's what people value. That's what people tell me, that it seems homeopathy seems easier when they read the book and they are able to elicit deeper symptoms in patients.
I think it's actually so important because the what I get from what you've just said is the book is very transparent. And the fact that you've included areas where, okay, this was not the right remedy, I think, for students especially and new graduates, it's so important because we've all been there, right? We've absolutely, even now, it happens. Sometimes you just don't get the remedy because there's so many possibilities. And also the fact that sometimes, no matter how deep you dig, a patient may not necessarily want to share everything. So it's the power of deduction and it's the power of observation that comes into play. And of course, that takes some years of experience indeed, having seen several thousand patients, perhaps. Only then it starts to, it's, for want of a better word, in English expression, you get it at that time. You think, no, hang on a minute, I think it's this way, you know? But that
Uh,
only comes after seeing
realization
patients, right?
realization happens to you.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Dr. Shrikant Talari, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on Homeopathic Voices. And most certainly, very soon, hopefully within the next 2 months, we can schedule a recording for the Homeopathy Health Show. And we can talk a bit more, not only about the book, but your journey to homeopathy and perhaps some, not cases, but, some experiences that you'd like to share and some anecdotes as well. But it's been
Yeah,
a great honor to have you. Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Atik. It was lovely talking to you. And just before I go, I just want to tell our your viewers that we are also doing an international workshop
Hmm.
in Prana, which is in Pune, in India. We are planning that in January.
Right.
So I can send you the brochure if you can, share it on your video or wherever you can. It will be
Okay.
helpful. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So those
Yes.
who are interested, they can enroll.
You know Dr. Sharon Ali then from Pune as well, I suppose.
Sharon Ali. Yes, I know
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been on the show as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
good. Wonderful. I will be in touch and let's talk very soon.